All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to build your very first data toolbox, and we're starting with probably the most essential tool you'll ever need for this kind of work, a library called Pandas. You know that feeling, right? You've got all this raw information just sitting there, but it's messy. It's kind of like a cluttered garage. You know there's good stuff inside, but you have no idea where to even begin looking. Well, that's exactly where Pandas comes in. Think of it as the ultimate organizer for that messy garage. It's the tool that helps you take all that chaotic, raw data and turn it into something clean, something you can actually use. So, what's the very first thing you need in any workshop? You need a good, solid place to put all your stuff. In the world of Pandas, we call that a data frame. It's really the perfect analogy. Before you can start measuring or cutting or doing anything, you have to lay all your materials out on a workbench. This data frame, that's your digital workbench. It's the foundation for everything we're about to do. Now, before we bring in our tools, your data might look a little something like this. This is just a basic Python dictionary. See how we have a list of names, a list of ages, a list of marks. They're all separate. It works, I guess, but it's not exactly easy to see what's going on at a glance. And that is the entire genius behind a data frame. It takes that jumble of lists and organizes it into a structure we all get instantly. A simple table, just like a spreadsheet. Once you get your data into nice, clean rows and columns, everything suddenly becomes so much clearer. And look at this. This is the magic. With just one simple command in Pandas, our separate lists are transformed into this beautifully organized table. Now, each student has their own row, and all their info, name, age, marks, is lined up perfectly in columns. Our data is now officially on the workbench, ready to go. Okay, let's keep building on this. Now that our data is all laid out, we need to figure out what we're actually looking at. So let's pull out a couple more tools from our toolbox, a measuring tape and a magnifying glass. This is always your first question. Before you dive in and start trying to find answers, you got to understand the basics, the shape and size of what you're working with. So to get the basic dimensions, we use a simple command called .shape. This is our measuring tape. It's going to tell us exactly how tall and how wide our data table is. And the output couldn't be simpler. 4 rows, 3 columns. Just like that, we know we have data for 4 different students. And for each one, we've got 3 pieces of information. So simple, but so incredibly useful. Okay, but what if you want to know the total number of cells in your table, the total number of individual data points? Well, for that, there's another super quick tool, .size. Yep, 4 rows times 3 columns, that gives us 12. See? Another simple command, another quick summary. It gives us a great feel for the scale of our data. And of course, we need to know what our columns are actually called, right? Using .columns gives us this nice, clean list of all our headers. So we know we're looking at name, age, and marks. Now, this is where we get out our magnifying glass. The .head command is awesome. It lets you peek at just the first few rows, so you don't have to scroll through thousands of them. But .describe, wow, this one is a real game changer. With one single command, it gives you this powerful statistical summary. The average age, the highest mark, the lowest mark, the whole shebang. All right, so we've organized our data, we've inspected it. Now it's time to actually do something with it. Our next tool is like a sieve. It lets us filter our data so we can keep only the bits that are important to us. This analogy just hits the nail on the head. You don't always care about the entire data set. A lot of the time, you're looking for a very specific group. In this case, maybe we only want to find the students who did really, really well. Okay, so here's our full data set again, our complete workbench. We've got all 4 students, and their marks are all over the place, from a 78 up to a 92. And just like that, we've poured our data through the sieve. We just told Pandas, hey, show me only the students who scored higher than 80. And here's what we get. Amit, with his 78, gets filtered right out, and we're left with just our top performers. How cool is that? Okay, the last tool for our starter kit today is the organizer. Filtering is great for selecting data, but sorting is all about putting it in a logical order, which makes it so much easier to spot patterns. I mean, the concept here is pretty straightforward, right? On the left, you've got the marks in a jumbled order. On the right, they're neatly arranged from lowest to highest. That simple act of ordering makes it instantly easier to understand. And of course, we can apply this to our whole workbench.
So here, we've sorted the entire table by marks, but this time we've done it from highest to lowest. And look, Neha, with her top score of 92, immediately jumps right to the top. Making a leaderboard or a ranked list just became trivially easy.
And you know what? Believe it or not, with just those few simple tools we've talked about, you have officially taken your first big steps into the world of data analysis. It really boils down to this simple workflow. First, you organize your messy data on a workbench called a DataFrame. Then, you inspect it with your measuring tape and magnifying glass to see what you've got. And finally, you use your sieve and your organizer to filter and sort the data to find the exact answers you're looking for. So there you have it. You now have the foundational tools in your data toolbox. You can bring order to chaos, you can measure what matters, and you can find the specific pieces of information you need. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it? What questions will you finally be able to answer?